Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rob Talks podcast. And this is episode 26. And today's episode is a good one, but it's a tough one as well, because this will be my last that I am recording here in Norway, here in my beautiful prison looking room. And so today's topic has to be fitting for it being the last episode being recorded here. And it is all about what I have learned from being here in Norway and what I have learned from my international exchange semester here. And there is so many things that I've learned in my time here, and there are so many amazing people that I have met that I am so thankful for coming into my life. And I'm so thankful for all the amazing experiences that I've had. And just to start off with this, I feel as though I'm incredibly lucky and fortunate to be in this position and being able to come to a country here like Norway and being able to just spend a semester integrating myself more into the culture, mixing with new groups of people, new groups of friends, and being able to experience an entirely different life in some way, even though it is only for 6 months. And it has honestly been amazing. I have really enjoyed it. I remember that I had certain expectations when I first came here, and I was kind of worried that those expectations weren't going to be fulfilled. But I would say they've been excelled, if anything. Norway is just an amazing country, amazing people, and has provided me such an amazing time. And everybody here has been so brilliant, especially in looking after international students myself. So I doubt anybody's listening from there, but thank you so much to NTNU, and thank you so much to SIT, and thank you so much to groups like ESN, who did an amazing job in looking after so many international students. And I've loved every time I've been. And just thank you, Norway, for being so amazing. And I'm sure I will come back here again on holiday. But I have, most importantly, as with any Rob Talks podcast episode, I have noted down the different areas of where I believe I have learned things, and I've learned really how to do them better, or possibly I've learned new lessons, or I felt as though personally I've grown. And I'm going to share these lessons with you guys, and you can hopefully take something away from it. And so the first thing that I feel as though I have really learned from my Norwegian experience is all about work-life balance, or life-work balance is kind of the way that I prefer to look at it. And I have previously done a podcast episode on this. And I remember speaking a lot about in how you need to be more in the present. You need to be more in the fact of that you should live your life. You should live your life more, and that work is the kind of thing that you really want it to integrate into your life, so it feels as though life is just an enjoyment overall. So you really enjoy your work, but you also enjoy everything else that you do. That's how you kind of gauge for more of a life work balance, rather than working 5 days a week just so you can have a rest on the weekend, that sort of mindset. And I think this experience here has taught me how to live my life more. And what I mean by this is that coming to Norway has been a great opportunity for me to do less things in a weird way. I find that when I am back in the UK, that I'm very much in a mindset about working and working and working. And I really enjoy the work I do, but of course there is elements that will be within everybody's coursework that you find stressful, and you don't always find time to look after yourself. And so ultimately, it's been this great lesson in how to just live my life more, enjoy moments in life more, and really adopt more of an attitude of having better self-care. I have done more meditations here. I have done more mindfulness exercise. I've journaled more here. I have taken more time to live in the present here. I've not been worried about the future, and I've not been worried about the past. I felt as though I have truly been able to live the majority of my time here living in the present moment and enjoying every single experience in that way. And that has just been amazing and has really opened my eyes up to how I should live my life more like that when I go home. And that I still want to push myself and I still want to do amazing work and continue with some of the amazing initiatives and startups and all these things I have going on in my head that I've been doing. I want to continue those, but I think I want to find a better balance. And I want to find that when I do get the opportunity to have that time within my week, within my day, whatever it may be, to have my own me time, to actually be more in the present of that and to really enjoy that time more. And also, for one, I've realized in being here, because you're kind of forced anyway whilst you're being here, that you want to do things, you want to gain experiences that you can't gain back home in a way. And that has also opened my eyes in how, when going back home, I want to take more chances to experience more things and to be able to do more things within the UK rather than just kind of going along with the process of my university course and just going with that and going with the flow of that, and that's it. I want to be able to take more opportunities to go to events, to go to places I've not been before, to try new things, really to get outside of my comfort zone, because Norway has been a brilliant opportunity to do that. Be it as simple as just jumping in the fjords to see how cold it is, and it is really cold no matter the time of year. It's even cold now. Or even just going on a walk somewhere entirely new where I've never been before, or even seeing animals I've never seen before. I've never seen a moose before, and I've seen two here. And I tell you, if you've never seen a moose, you have to see. They are huge. They are like a mix between a deer and a cow, and about the size of a small house. They are insanely big. But I think I've learned so much in terms of how I need to have a better life work balance when I go back home, and how I need to enjoy more experiences when I go back to the UK. The second thing that I think I've really taken from this experience is relationships and friendships. The people that I have met here, I cannot describe how amazing they are. And I'm feeling really emotional now. But the people that I have met have been absolutely astonishing, and have taught me so much. And I've had so many amazing experiences with them. In particular, two people who have been wanting a shout out on this podcast for ages. Um, Linda and Julia are two people that I met right towards the beginning of my semester. And they're both from Germany, and they have massively looked after me in many points. But also, I've enjoyed so many experiences with them in just cooking together, in going to Tromso, in doing all these amazing things. And I think without amazing people like them, I wouldn't have had such a brilliant semester as I have had here. And I've met so many more people, so many people. It's kind of hard. I would need to write everybody's names down because it is just an endless list. But if any of you are listening and you know who you are, I've met you and I've had great times with you. Thank you so much, because you have been amazing. And I hope that we stay in touch, and that I either come to your country or you come to my country, because the relationships that I've had here, I think, are ones that have gone a step beyond to maybe what I've had before sometimes, because I have some amazing friends back home in the UK and I miss them so much. If the boys are listening, they know who they are. I miss them every single day. But I know that for a fact I was worried that I was going to come here and I was going to make kind of acquaintance friendships, and that I was going to make relationships that weren't really that deep and were very artificial, and that it would just kind of be like, let's go on a hike and then that's it, and you don't see them for months and months or whatever. But some of the people that I've met here, I've made such deep connections with, And I am so thankful for that, and so thankful to be able to learn from them as well, as they come from a different culture, a different country, a different background, a different career path, a different perspective, whatever it may be. I have learned so much from the people I've met here, and every single one of them have been amazing. And I cannot thank them enough for deciding to talk to me and deciding to look after me in my time here. I'm just so, so thankful. And I think ultimately the lesson from this is the fact that even if you feel nervous and you're going into maybe a similar situation as what I've done, or you're going into a situation where you are going to meet new people, just go for it. Get outside of your comfort zone, and you will realize that there are actually so many people who are in a similar position to you, and there are so many people that want to also make these relationships and friendships. And all you have to do is just find those people you vibe with, find those people that you click with, and the rest is just amazing. And you have amazing experiences. And I genuinely have met people that I feel can be lifelong friends, no matter the distance, the mileage, whatever it may be. They can be lifelong friends because they are just people I click with, people I vibe with, people who are amazing in their own right. And so I'm incredibly thankful for the people who I've met here. And so I think going back to the UK, I'm going to take a lesson from here in a way of prioritizing those relationships more, and trying to find of how I can make more deeper connections with people, and making sure that I also, for one, stay in contact with people, because that is something I am terrible at. And I'm sure there are other people that can relate to this in like the simplest things. When talking about mental health and checking up on your friends, so much of that just comes from an initial message, a little phone call, or whatever it may be. I will hold my hands up and say I am terrible at being the instigator of that. And so I know, for one, that I need to be more of the instigator, and I need to be more of the person that looks after the people that I do care about, because a lot of the time they sit here in my heart and they stay there, and they're not enough in my messages, and I don't communicate with them enough, and I don't check in on them enough. So that's something that I'm going to learn and really work upon as I go back home as well. The third thing that I've learned from here in Norway, and this is more of an actual thing that I've learned because of Norway specifically, in the Norwegian culture, is just how to relax more. There's something about Norway which is really relaxing, and in particular, Trondheim, where I am, is a really relaxing city. It's partially because of a multitude of reasons. For one, Trondheim is a city, but it doesn't have that many people. And so a lot of the time it is a very calm and chill vibe, and there aren't that many people. And I know some people don't like that, but for me, I love that because it's an opportunity of just calmness. And I feel like I can go anywhere without having any form of anxiety. And so it's just really nice, and a really nice place to be. And secondly, this is more kind of why across nationally of Norway, I've seen that even though taxes are higher, things are more expensive here because of the amount of money that is put into communities, into building, into infrastructure here. Everything runs smoother. Simple little things. Trains are on time, buses are on time. Anybody who's from the UK will be thinking, what? Like, the buses are always on time, the trains are always on time, people are always on time, everything runs smoothly. And yes, there may be times where it feels as though there are too many rules, maybe, or that there's maybe too many things that are tying you down to be in a particular type of way, or that the natural way of the Norwegian culture means that you don't really step out of the lines too much. There is an element of that that actually brings a sense of calmness, and brings a sense of a place that is just really nice to be in. And I have felt that throughout the whole time I've been here this semester, that I've felt more relaxed, and I've felt more calm and more anxiety free than maybe what I have done in the past. And so I think there is a massive element to that in terms of the nature, but in terms of the city and in terms of the infrastructure of surrounding Norway and the Norwegian culture. People seem to be, maybe they're hiding it, but Norwegians seem to be more relaxed people and seem to overall be people that live a calmer life. And I know that is kind of hard to explain without you being here, but this is why I'd highly recommend coming to Norway, because it's just a place of where everything feels calmer, it feels easier, it's more comfortable. And so overall, the lesson that I've learned from Norway is that I want to work out how more in the UK I can set up my life better and my mindset better to live a more calm life, to live a life of where I am more anxiety free. And now I know I can't just go and change infrastructure in the UK and do drastic changes like that. That's a bit too crazy. But what I can do is make changes in my life to be calmer. I can meditate more. I can do more mindfulness techniques. I can do journaling. I can take more opportunity to just go outside, to get into nature more, because that's something that I do a lot when I'm home. But when I'm at university in the UK, I don't think I do it enough. And so I need to take more time to be able to do that. And I think there are so many university students who need to take more time to do that, to just go outside, to get sunlight for one, to get into the outdoors. There is something that Jay Shetty talks about and that I have seen, in that there is a neurological thing that happens within your brain that every single human experiences when we see nature. And it's determined as the awe effect of where you're just wowed by what you see. And in every single person, this little neurological change happens and it makes you release, I believe it's hormones. I could be wrong. There are probably biologists or doctors out there correcting me. But I know for one that this little thing that happens in your brain means that you feel automatically calmer and this sense of awe. And it's something that helps us a lot within mindfulness and helps us to live in the present. So we need to get outdoors more. And I think that's something that I will be trying to do more, especially when I go back to university in the UK. I will be trying to go outdoors more and really allow for that opportunity of mindfulness, to feel the grass, to smell the cut grass or to smell the air, to be able to have all of my senses interacting with how I am in the present moment more, because I've had more opportunities to do that here in Norway. And so many times I found little places in Trondheim of where I can go to the beach. So for anybody who does come to Trondheim, I go to Korsvika Beach. It's a beautiful place and just feels so nice to be in and just to be calm. And there are places on top of mountains here and top of hills where I've been, where you can just sit and it feels calming. It feels nice and it feels safe. And so when I go back to the UK, I'm going to try and find how I can make little changes in my life to be calmer and to have more opportunities to relax and be happy. The fourth thing that I've learned from here is massively to do with the people I've met, and in particularly just the way that Norwegians seem to be, in that I believe in this kind of rule that Stephen Bartlett talks about more from an entrepreneurial sense, which is all to do with invisible PR. Now, what this is all to do with the fact of that every single time that we take an action, and especially with people that we know, that person, when you do an action for them or you do a service towards them, be it negative or positive, it is likely that that person will remember that, even if it's like a little thing, because we find that as humans, as we go throughout our day-to-day lives, we sometimes remember things that other people don't. It can be something as simple as, I held the door open for you, and that person remembers that. So they remember that you're a nice person and hold that as their representation of you or their perspective of you in their head. That's what I believe that goes around with you as you go to different places, be that a good thing or a bad thing. It does happen and people will base you upon that. And that's why sometimes we can have issues with first impressions. We can be prejudging when we meet people. And so we have to be open-minded, really, to allow for the fact that people can be different than what you first perceive. But ultimately, with this idea of invisible PR, it's the fact that every single person that I've met here in Norway, and I know that there is a bias towards it because, of course, I'm an international student and they want to be nice, but every single person that I've met here, and I mean every single person, is kind and has this value of being kind to you and not taking advantage of you and really just being nice. And the greatest thing about it, I think, as well, is the fact that they do it authentically. It's not being nice for the sake of being nice or being kind for the sake of being kind. Every single Norwegian I've met has been kind and has been nice and has done it in a way that you can just tell that it is them. It is their personality. It is what they are brought up within. And I think that ultimately that is to do with the nurturing of how people in Norway grow up here, because there is something within the culture that means that people just seem to be nicer to one another. Now, of course, it's harder to tell between Norwegians because I don't speak Norwegian, but every single time I've had any conversation with any Norwegian here, from a person who works in a shop to another student, every single person has been open-minded, has been kind, has been nice, and has done it off their own back. They haven't done it to please you or to expect something back from you. They've done it authentically because they want to. And I think that is something that I potentially am going to miss a little bit, because I know for a fact in the UK that we are sometimes abrasive when we first meet people, and we're very judgmental in some cases. Not everybody, but this is a kind of generalization. And I just know that for a fact, one important lesson from this that I'm going to take is what I have spoken about in terms of what Simon Sinek talks about with kindness and the power of kindness, is that I'm going to aim to hold kindness and being nice as one of my high values that I prioritize, and I will always continue to prioritize it because it has that domino effect. The more people that you treat nicely and that you are kind to, and the even gestures that you do that are there to serve to others, to help them have a better day, to be thankful for them, or whatever it may be, it has that domino effect and they will do it back to you eventually, or eventually to somebody else. And so I think ultimately, if there is any way that I want to instill that being more within my life, I have to also give it out to others. And so I will continue to massively prioritize being kind and being nice to others. And most importantly, being open-minded. Norway as a country is quite forward-thinking. And so I want to be able to live with more of a forward-thinking mindset, especially as I focus more and more on inclusive design and mental health and diving more into these worlds further and further. I want to be more forward-thinking and be more open. And the last thing that I've learned from my experience here in Norway is all to do with this element of gratitude. Now, I've spoken about how I have done mindfulness activities here and I have journaled. And the biggest thing that has always come up, and I remember because at one point I was consistently doing these Instagram posts of where I wanted to always put what I was grateful for. Many things. And I think this power of gratitude is something I want to take back and impose in my life more in the UK, because here I'm just so grateful for so many things. There are very few things that I have found here in Norway to be negative and or to have any kind of negative connotation to them. If they do, it's usually because it's either because of me and just because of who I am and the fact that differences, and anything that I relate back to the UK and it being different. I would say apart from that, everything has been pretty positive. And I think that's why I live here. For one, anybody who is Norwegian listening should be so grateful for the place that you live in. It's absolutely amazing here. For one, the nature is stunning. I think the only way that I can describe it to somebody who has never been to Norway is it is like a crazy 100 times better looking version of beautiful places with the mountains and everything. And it's basically very similar, just a lot bigger in places and a lot more snow and even more beauty, I would say. And the fjords and the mountains and the snow, oh, it's just amazing. And so I'm extremely grateful for the nature. And as I've said, I'm extremely grateful for the people, both Norwegian and everybody else who I've met here as international students. I'm so grateful for them and so grateful for my experiences here. And I'm so grateful for even the fact that I've had this opportunity, because I think when I look back now, even over a year ago, I was extremely worried about how I was going to get a placement. I think it was only within a few weeks from a year ago or so that I actually eventually secured my placement to start in August. And I was so worried about what I was going to do, where I was going. And I still remember Norway wasn't even my top choice. I wanted to go to Delft, and I didn't get selected to go to Delft. I then got given Milan as a second option. And I don't know what it was. I kept looking at the university and the place, and I just felt that it wasn't for me. I felt it was a cool place to go on holiday, but I didn't want to spend 6 months there. And a place that I've never been to is really this far north in Scandinavia. And so Norway just really appealed. And even though the university is more engineering and science than, say, per design, I thought it's worth it. For the experience of a lifetime, it is worth it. And ultimately, I'm so grateful for this opportunity from Loughborough University, from NTNU, from Erasmus and Turing and everything that goes on in that world of sorting out exchange programs. I'm so, so grateful. And I would highly recommend it to anybody who is thinking of Erasmus or thinking of studying abroad, that it is just an amazing opportunity for you to learn more than just your university curriculum, because you're able to do new studies here with being in a new place. You're able to meet new people, which gives you a new perspective on life, on culture, on background. And you're able to absorb yourself more than you would on a holiday within the actual culture and the things that go on within the country that you visit. And so I would highly recommend it to anybody to come and visit a country for an international exchange semester. And I have to say, I'm pretty biased, but Norway has been amazing. And I would highly recommend it to anybody. But before we close this episode, again, I just want to say thank you so much to anybody who's involved in this for this opportunity. And thank you to the people I've met. Thank you for looking after me, for being there for me, for enjoying experiences with me, for teaching me new lessons in life, and for really helping me to grow as an individual. And I hope in some way, somehow, I've helped you to grow as well. Thank you so much, Norway, and the people that I've met here. And I'm sure I will be back on holiday here sometime in the future. You have been listening to the Rob Talks podcast, the last episode from Norway. Thank you so much for listening, and please hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button if you really enjoyed this episode, and I will see you for the next video or the next podcast episode back in the UK. You have just been listening to the Rob Talks podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and please make sure to subscribe and give me a follow on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, or even LinkedIn. And I will speak with you soon. Stay safe and have a great week.